Good afternoon and happy Friday, everybody. It's so wonderful to have you back here on the LPGA Tour of Korea. We have another 3-round tournament in store for you this weekend, and we are oh so excited to bring it your way. Here at the Dayouwinia Country Club, we present round one of the Dayouwinia MBN Women's Open with 1 billion won on the line this weekend. Looking through some of the groups that we will be keeping the closest eye on this weekend. Of course, EA1 Chung Yoon-ji and Chun Ye-sung should produce quite the group. They had teed off at 12:15 local time here. Once again in the gorgeous mountains and countryside at this wonderful Dayouwinia Country Club. We are playing on the typically membership reserved portion of this 36-hole golf course. Par 72, the Printemps and Été courses, of course French for spring and summer. Gorgeous aerial drone shot overlooking the course as we get set to head on down and check in with the action. My name is Adam Jenkins, so wonderful to have you aboard with us for another week. Round one, 6,026 meters these 18 holes will play. Park Young-kyung, she is 2 under through 7 holes, teeing off on the par 3 8th. Nicely up onto the green, and now onwards to the fairway. This is going to take a nice little bounce just from the left side of the green and come ever closer to the pin, just about pin high. There's a nice on from the rookie Peng Xin-shil. Oh, even nicer. Little backspin to keep it within 6 feet or so. Excellently played. Dongjin 1. It's been a bit of a slow start for her. 1 over through 8. And that's not going to necessarily inspire a ton of confidence that she's going to be able to get back to even here on the penultimate hole of the front 9, with plenty of work to do, the furthest out of the group. Looking at the forecast today, 32 degrees and sunny. High up in the mountains once again. Not a ton of wind either. Kim Soo-ji, our leader, with an opening round of 5 under 67. Yoo So-yeon 2, Hong Jin-young 2, and Kang Chae-yeon all with 68s today, just 1 back. As you can see, a lot of the players at the top having been already through their round. Now Chung-min. Her second at 9. Over the water, over the tall grass, and gonna stop perfectly in line with the hole. That'll be about a 4-foot putt for her birdie. Long way back. Break needs to start now. Well, it doesn't move as much as she needed it to, but the weight control very much on display. And Ijumi also following suit. Everyone going right at the pin with very little margin for error if you are short and left. And each of the three turning out some nice results. And she knew that with a little bit more speed to it, she might have had her birdie. And it's a long walk to drop that ball marker for Park Young. She's been known this year especially to put together some scintillating final rounds. And this EA1, slightly uphill for birdie to get under par. And just hangs on. Back to even. Second birdie of the day, 2 and 7. Had bogeyed the par 5 she just came off of, and nice rebound. And here it comes. Speed a bit too much. Her miss is right. So-yeon Jung, her second, also skirting that left side. Bravery being rewarded once again. Well within her range. I'm sure it might have been a bit nervy. The apprehension doesn't shine through, saves her par, and will saunter off, still 2 under. Noijumi on the bend, coming back right. Mere centimeters off. Good putt, good par. More from the tee at the par 3. It's also well left. Unlike the most recent par 3 that we had seen. Pin placement today at the back. An uneventful drive from Bak Young as she was able to get it just deep enough to reach the main section of fairway. Xin Xill only 6 back. The +2 will loom large. Off to a solid start as well.
Okay.
Well, the camera angle's deceiving. That zoomed into the tree makes you think there might be some trouble afoot, but confidently to that left side. A huge turnout for the gallery here on this Thursday. Always love to see that. She had to work for that. And a lot of the heavy lifting having come before the putt, which she makes look easy. 7 pars, a birdie, and a bogey on her way out. COEA 1 fares here. Probably give herself a 7 out of 10 for that tee shot. Starts left, weaving back to the right. This looks promising. Oh, it's just going to tail over. Slightest piece of the ball hovers over the cup and it will take the slightest of tap-ins. That's a remarkable putt. So close to making our end of round highlight reel already. Next up at 8, rolls that pretty well pin high. About 5-meter putt for birdie with not a lot of dipping and diving on the way.
형 왼쪽 볼 좀 봐주세요.
Immediately discontented with that shot, and that would be why. Off down towards the water, past the red stake. That is going to be, barring some kind of helpful tall grass or other rescue feature, she could be wet. And from nearly the left edge of the green, perfect read of the line and executed well. So-Yeon Jung also recovers from a bogey at the last. She moves to 1 under. Ping-Shin Shil slightly downhill as she makes her way towards the clubhouse. The gallery likes it. It's decent, not as aggressive as we've seen groups past play. Trip to the green, that's going to require a second putt. Starting down a par on the par 3. Pitching wedge from 116 for Park Young-Young. Birdie gets her within 1 with lots of golf remaining. She also goes back. Maybe she could have grabbed the sand wedge instead. He's gonna just stop on the green, but a long way out. EA1 makes that look easy. Clinical birdie putt. Back to back now, and she moves just outside of the top 10 as well with 10 holes to go. Jung Yoon-ji is going to come closer to the bottom of your screen, a little right to left on this putt, I think, but not much. Slightly downhill. Here it comes, right on line. Took her 7 holes to fully warm up. And on number 8, first birdie of the day. Well, how about that? Just rescued after all. It was be borderline impossible to get a camera to a point where we could see exactly what the lie is. I can tell you with near certainty, it's not great. She's gonna be right into the foliage on the backswing. Needs good contact, can't be too heavy. Can't be too light or she's staying right where she is. So for Hongji-Won, if she can just pop this past the fringe, I think that's her best case scenario. Just like that. That's a good up from there. Very makeable par as she tries to avoid dropping to +2. A fast and furious opening 20 minutes in the 11th playing of this Dayouwinia MBN Women's Open. Lee So-Young, the defending champion, she won it last year with a 13 under par. -5 is Kim Soo-ji, a 67 in the first of 3 rounds from the Daewoo Montbert Country Club. More when we return. Don't go anywhere. We pick up on 9 with Park Young. It's 11.6 meters, a long way back. Needs to ride the edge of this green, coming back online. She had to work for that 2-putt par. From an unfavorable line, to say the least. Out in that fairway bunker. Chinchil, if not for that slight uphill rise at the end, he probably would have been able to get back for her birdie. No qualms with that approach. To about 6 feet past the hole. Just a bit more than that, you'd imagine, for home G1 here, trying to save a par. It's pulled, and it's going to cost her again. When she saw where that putt had, or that chip, excuse me, had landed, she probably thought she was going to escape unscathed. Unfortunately, not the case. Min just continues to march along, starting to find her form, starting to find that momentum. And easy does it for Peng Xinjil for a par. Young next, approach on 11. She's at even. That's a big bounce, takes quite the divot, and it pays dividends, if you will. I will see myself out. Lifting it out of the rough and not carrying the speed to work herself within 5 or 6 feet. Won't be a straightforward putt for par. That's another almost costly carom. The rough does her a big favor. Keeps her at least level with the green. And a nice intentional cut left of center, but in a great spot on the fairway for Park Young.
먼 길을
The
떠나볼까?
supporters like it, and our rookie will too. She'll go left and stay on. Obviously not Peng Xin Chill. We just saw her. There it is, Hung Ji Won. Same score though, and a +2. She would be more than happy to be drama-free all the way to the green. Check mark on the drive. And Sunju, we saw her battling fiercely towards the end of last week in search of that first win in several years and coming oh so close, but not quite enough to topple the young star who won her very first last week. Incredible scenes around the 18th green. Yeah, and also a sophomore with a early title under her belt. Pin high and almost exact center of the green. Trying to save a par. And the misses left. Didn't break any. Not time to contemplate why, just enough time to take par and move on to the next. And off to the fringe. Staying left, but staying out of too much trouble. Chung Yoon-ji that time. And Kenny Jungmin go back to back. Nearly. Too much speed and not enough of her line. Got a piece of the edge, but it takes two. Starts the back nine with a par. Wouldn't have minded a bit more bites. But she's on in two, and that in itself from her detour the last time through is a win. And Lee Young. Pretty good approach shot to leave her with this here at 11. Coming back left, looks early. Yep. birdie to be had, even will stay. You can see the flag well right of this green. 113 out and a 9 iron. Needed right, goes left and stops up on the fringe. Pak Ju-young. Also at even at 11, also with a chance to go under. Right to left and just enough. It's birdie number 2 for her on the day. Also had one at 6. The bogey at the first hole. All pars otherwise, and to the top 25 she will go. .76, 58-degree wedge and uphill. And with all the variables, she concocts a wonderful approach shot. She should feel quite confident with her chance at a bird with that. Not so as we move along to 11, or 9, excuse me, Chun Ye-sung. From the rough, gonna be tough to caress this the way she needs to. Makes it about halfway from the fringe to her target. And Ijumi. Hear the shouts to sit. Ball does not comply. Well off the back into the rough. And per A1, not a short putt by any stretch. 7 meters. But pretty flat. Line shouldn't be all that daunting. On its way, just runs out of speed. Jungmin, another uphill approach from the fairway. Can't even say not as brave to go with the pin, just not as simple of a proposition on that par 4. Now Pak Young at 10. This is her birdie putt, but it's 14 meters away and starting on the fringe. Contact is decent. Up she goes, tiptoeing closer. That's about 12 of the 14 meters that she needed. And up and down for a par. Chun Ye-sung trying to stay 2 back, and does so. Good recovery from missing the green. She's certainly not getting the bounces and the breaks at the moment. Hasn't been setting herself up for as much success as she would like either on the other side of that coin. And Bang Xinshu, this looks good. Big time birdie. It's her first of the day, and if not for that double bogey at number 2, the rookie would be under par, but she's also finding her stride at the right time. Couple of good holes with some great shot making, finally rewarded. And rolling on down to be almost level, almost pin high. '65th ranked golfer in the world, tied for 14th last week with a strong end to her tournament. Runner-up at the Tucson Match Play. Also a runner-up of the Mediheal Google Boat Championship. And a lapse in concentration as she pushes that and lets slip that look at par. 4 top 10s out of 12 events so far this season, 1 missed cut. That wasn't too long ago, back at the BC Card Hung Young Ladies Cup. And her first bogey of the day. Not the way to start the back 9, but 3 strokes in 8 holes is more than doable for someone with her quality. Well, frustrated that it's not birdie. Probably relieved it's only par. And running it through the rough, through the fringe, and now heading back down. Dayouwinia to about 6 feet for a par. And so Yeonjung number 2 at 13. Full swing with the wedge. Front, middle. And with that dip you can see a pretty discernible little bowl where the pin finds itself in. She's on the wrong side of the edge and stays in the middle. Yeonjung meanwhile sees the putt break right. Wanted it to go left. And leaves about 4 feet for a par. She is the 3rd ranked rookie so far this year on 865 points, trailing Hung Yu-min and Kim Min-byul, who leads on 1252. Yeonjung won 5th on the money list. And the big payday back at the Korea Women's Open Golf Championship will certainly influence that, her second major title of her career. Now 23 years of age. Tailing right. And down into the rocks. Always looks more daunting when the ball disappears. Not too much of a scary drop. But not what she had intended either. Soyeon Jung uphill. Gotta hang on to the line. She does it all. Nice birdie is right. Second in a 3-hole window. Just outside of the top 10 now at 2 under. And Ijumi up and down for her par. Young, another command to sit, and often when you need to do that, the ball has other ideas. Another uphill left to right putt. This one will go into the narrow miss category. More approach shots on the par 4 at 12. Park Ju-young tails it in. Excuse me, on the par 5. Massive 514-meter hole here. Where we find G1 towards the rocks, having missed right, deep in a grass bunker here. 147 still to make up. Full swing, looked good. Sounded pretty good as well. Can't even say that it's a bit deceiving considering where she started that shot from. She's well right. Downhill, uphill, and some serious break as she tries to two-putt for a par. Camouflaged from view is EA1. That was her third, and it's not nearly strong enough. Pretty good look at the hole for Bak Gung at 127 meters. Carried a little bit too much. Bounds up and rolls to about 8 or 9 meters away from target. And now Chanye Sung. Outside look for birdie. This looks a little bit right. A little bit indeed. Narrowly off. Par is almost certain. And she's not gonna fuss about and mark the ball. Finishes in 2. Punching Cheel. Can she control the distance that has caught others? She's the best of the 3. Not particularly close either. A bit of respite from that hot sun glaring down. 32 degrees today. Winds picked up a little bit since we came on the air about an hour ago. 2.5 meters per second on average right now. And EA1, can she get it there? A formidable try, but unfortunately the answer is no. We have set up shop in Pochun for this 3-round event. Kim Soo-ji, her mark from the first swath of players stands. Kim Min-ju, only one back and blazing through. Only on her 8th hole of the day. She is off to a torrid start and a chance to catch and maybe even take over the lead. More from the Dayouwinia Country Club in just a few minutes. Well, a bit of a rocky start to the back nine is helped by a solid putt to just a tap-in par for Hong Ji-won. Go back to 12. Lee Ga-young, another exceptionally long putt with a ton of break. Misjudged that, to say the least. Be staring down a breaking putt for birdie. Now up the hill and into the wind for Bak Young at 11. Who's disappointed with her bogey at 10. Chance to get it back. If there was any break, it was the wrong break. So bogey par to start the back. 120 players in the field this week. Bak Ju-young. Short birdies are usually the favorite birdies. Well, birdies will feel good. And Bung Shin-chil, speaking of, back-to-back and even. She couldn't buy one before the turn, but now, thanks to this fantastic display of what the putter can do, tip of the visor and a roar. She's putting well. Just needs to make it easy on herself getting to the green. Lee Ga-young, 2 putts and her par, keeping herself close. And look at hole number 12 here. .514. It is a mammoth par 5. High slope for the rough to the right of the fairway. 260 to the front of the green from where that stunning bit of landscaping comes in. Not where you want to find yourself, however. And then from there you keep on climbing. Fairway narrows with 2 bunkers on the right of the green, about 90 meters before the hole. The long sand that snakes its way between the fairway and the cart path to the left. And the pin in this opening round here at number 12 is almost immediately front right. 7 yards off the front, 4 yards from the right fringe. A green that measures 40 yards in depth. Here's Lee Jung-min playing her approach. That's a great view of just how front right the pin is, and she went right at it. A little backspin, and who knows, that could have been eagle. She's on an absolute tear. That momentum carries into her driver. Finds the fairway with ease. Their big major championship win, the crown in what has been an inconsistent season. Tied for 33rd last week. 2 missed cuts immediately before the Korea Women's Open Golf Championship. No one would have expected her to be the one atop the field when she had been struggling just to make it to the final round. My goodness, what a performance she had put together. Second win it had been of her career. She seems to perform in the biggest events though, won the Hanwha Classic in 2022. But she has the same number of missed cuts as she does top 10 finishes so far in 2023. Still just the 3-time champion in 2022 was a year without any wins breaking her run that started back in 2020. And now Pak Ju-young from just off the fairway, 147 to go on 13. And not enough to stay up. Frustrating, no doubt, to watch it roll back. So Jean on 14, speaking of par 5s. Like that ball was on a string, it's spun back and will stop on the fringe. So we take a look at what has transpired, thus far on 11. 222, 224, and 226 the drives, leaving us with an average of 125 to go. G the first to make her approach and can't keep it on the green. Almost no wind. That's certainly not a factor at the moment. And So Yan Jung also on 14, also her approach. Keeps it almost a bit too tight. Slightly off right and into the rough. Dayouwinia is next. It's quite the significant drop. 6.7. She's certainly on the other side of the spectrum. Jung Yoon-ji, she's short of the green and honestly probably a preferable putt uphill. Lee Jung-min left to right and downhill. Some hesitation as she pulled that putter back. She delayed and it threw her off. It's only about 4 or 5 feet, if that. Perplexed, to say the least, that she didn't birdie that hole. She was the longest drive of the group. What can she do? Well, we have one of each, short, long, and right. Second shot on the par 5 and a 5-wood. Full swing from Bangxin Qiu. Will just trickle into the rough left of the fairway, but ate up a big chunk of the remaining yardage here. It's quite the view down. Also get a good vantage of how the ball is above Hong Ji-won's feet. 312 still to go. And with this lie, she's gone for the hybrid instead. Sacrifice a little bit of power for the accuracy, and looks like she made the right decision. Really difficult to play that wood when the ball's not level with you. And what would have been the look at birdie still could be. Almost spoke too soon. Incredible touch, good short game skill. A long way up for Bak Ju-young. About exactly what she would have hoped out of that putt. Realistically, of course.
여기까지 왔다. 이거 박성경. 이거 박성경. 이거 박민주.
Kyung also cuts across, right to left. She carries on through the par 5. So Jean is going to putt from the fringe. And not quite there. Would have been a birdie. She's snake bitten at the moment. No doubt about that. It's a frustrating lap around the course for Young thus far. Basically able to land at pin high. Up in 3. shortchanged a little. She was cognizant that too much power could have spelt disaster. It's about as tidy as it gets. Now she just needs the putter to play along well. Coming back online with a little bit more, might have got there. One-upping Park Young if possible. After two great shots to start it all off, would be 3 from 3 if Pang Chin-sil can get the job done. And Jung Yun-ji is slightly left and carries too much speed. Another confounding, almost unthinkable short putt miss. She might think twice about leaving the flag in next time, Chen Ye-sung. Bogey on 11 drops her to 1 under. And for EA1, no such drama. Heading back, couldn't finesse the line despite a really, really good effort.
Okay.
Disappointing bogey. Look at the scorecard, first of the day. Been a relatively uneventful round to this point. And Pang Chin-sil wasn't straightforward, wasn't automatic. And on 15, not too many complaints with an approach like that. Young. Looking for a spark out of the putter. And to this point in the round, it hasn't come consistently. So a Jean and a 7-iron. That's the other way to play this par 3. Especially with the pin right in the middle. Should see at least one birdie out of that group. And Bungxin Shiel was early in the round. The blow-up hole, the one she'd like to forget. Bang. Off the golf cart. Probably scared the life out of whomever was sat in it. And shot well out into the trouble zone. So, she would double bogey. Start to sort it out from there. Working on that driver. She's been left on most of her tee shots today. That's just where the shape has gone. Says, okay, maybe the driver's not going exactly where I want it. Maybe the wood's better. And unfortunately, no better. Into the bunker. She has been able to recover. It's been every other club and every other shot but the tee shot so far today. Oh no, that was almost premonition. She's helped out by the tree this time to keep her in the rough, otherwise she was looking lost on the other side of the cart path again.
바람 도와줘. 조금 왼쪽. 네.
러프가 들어간 거 없어.
네.
A dart to the fairway. And lastly, Pak Young.
여기 괜찮아.
괜찮아.
Two of three in the fairway, and the third feeling very, very lucky. Ice packs and wet towels, anything to try and cool down on a plus 30-degree day today. And from off, skirting the outside of the hole and stopping 5 feet beyond it. This time, The orders for sit are more or less granted. Aniga Young will be thinking, okay, I've gotta have this one. The slightest of misses. Fraction of a degree too far to the right. All the difference. It is a 3 on 15. So Yeonjung remains 2 under with only 3 to go.
고생하셨습니다.
And Ijumi, a bit dumbfounded, but the prevailing emotion will be frustration. Bogey for the second time in the back 9. So Jean, can she get to 2 under? Not quite. Short, and even with a bit more, she's left.
어차피 5번 거리면 우측으로 내려오는 걸 생각 안 해도 되니까 지금 카트까지 썼어요. 끝나무.
Consistency. The name of the game for the round thus far. Just hasn't been there. She's going to avoid the first drop into the middle rise, but Park Young knows she shortchanged it. Almost using the rough as a bumper, nowhere near where it needed to be, and Park Young in a bit of disbelief. She'll be counting her lucky stars. Onward we go on an absolutely beautiful day here at the Dayouwinia Country Club. Kim Soo-ji's 5 under, still the score to beat. There had been a challenge. That challenger has descended, dipped away, And it remains her lead to lose. And with birdies at a premium, it looks like it might just be her lead to sustain. But we still have about 2 more hours to go in round number 1 on a lovely Friday in Pochon. Welcome back to round one of this Dayouwinia MBN Women's Open. From off the rough to closer. Park Ju-young, meanwhile, she was able to get up here in two. And a great look at an eagle, but goes the short route, marks off. And now, closer was of course putting it gently. Still on the fringe, and a little chip. Looked like it was on line. Curious winding slope. And it's going to take one final putt. Dayouwinia, all the pressure and a lot of the weight off her shoulders as she's finally back in the birdie column for the first time since third of the day. Back-to-back bogeys in between the first and third birdies have meant it has been a bit of a slow start. Now Bungshin Shil, this is turning online at the end. She sees these greens with almost X-ray vision. So it's just par, but confidence building par. Just has to sort out that driver. And the A1. Long backswing for a long putt. Has the distance covered. Narrowly inside, and just the tap in. Young also uphill. Left herself with too much to do, despite a good putt. Not going to impact the score sheet. Heading up on 14 and getting stuck on the fringe. Lee Jung-min, that's not the most complicated putt. All right, what do we got here? We had the snack station last week, and it looks like an empty fridge, which isn't very helpful on a 32-degree day. What's in the drawer? Nothing either. Striking out. Someone's got to restock it. Okay, she's been left almost every single time. What's the verdict here? Perfect. How about that? She'll take a handful more of those the rest of the way in. She's been driving incredibly well today. Another into the fairway. disappeared from our view, but in the fairway. And this group is on the march with 3 good drives. Haven't been able to say that a ton today. Let's see if that translates to low scores. We've got an empty fridge on the par 3. Let's see if we have any aces, perhaps. Iga Young has the honor after her birdie. She goes left. An uphill putt for birdie from there, but tricky. Playing into the wind's probably going to help on this downhill par 3. Might an outside the box type of birdie spur the round. That headed left right away, but straightens out and will fall for her. So she's able to get back to even within 4. She had an almost unthinkable bogey at 13 from less than 4 feet away. That putt for par had been, and she is able to nullify it. Good bounce back. It's going to be a 9-iron for Park Ju-young. Also a bit left, but nice and tight. And a hybrid. G1. Second on 14. She's fearing this might be a bit right. And it is a bit right, but not missing the fairway by much, almost to the very end of it. She'll take that, I'm sure. Park Ju-young with iron. Be almost directly beside her group mate, but in the fairway. Just perfectly positioning herself around this par 5. So only 194 meters remaining. Does she dare try and reach? She's launched it. Well, another clatter. Not sure what that means. I don't think she's sure what that means. This angle will tell us everything we need to know. She absolutely tried to reach, and she did more than that. She carried it. Okay, I take it back. Same angle. It's not the most helpful of replays. So it goes out of bounds, and she's going to have to go again. That's the risk reward. Do you set yourself up and try and play an eagle? If you're on the green, it's great. If you're OB, can undermine. Again, when she misses, she's missing left today. So take two. This is what you want to do the first time. Unfortunate that it took a second go at it. You got Young unable to go 2 from 2. Ticker par. Now set up shot time for Park Young. Right is where she wanted to be. That's pretty. What an incredible sequence for her to start this par 5. So far, so great for those two. And Park Young. It's just going to narrowly be inside. She'll settle for par as well. Awfully close. Just couldn't make it work after that great tee shot. A little bit of trivia for this round as we show you an unchanged leaderboard for this tournament, I should say. We've told you a little bit about its history. But when you think about the records, who's won it before, who's poised to try and win it again, one of the most fascinating is who has shot the lowest score ever in this tournament. How about -23 over a decade ago when it was first contested? Kima Noi had that feat, and she's going to be tough to try and beat with a mark quite like that. '68, '68, '66, and '63. Just one of 2 tournaments in the 10-year history of this event that were 4 rounds. We'll take a quick reset and bring you more from the opening round of the Dayouwinia MBN Women's Open after this short break.
우리가 먼저죠?
예.
네.
After a first putt gone missed, we go to 17 and see if So-Yeon Jung can change that from the fringe. 98% of the way there. Out comes the pin and a par on the penultimate.
느낌으로만 죽는다. 필이 있으면 안 타겠다.
No guarantees,
괜찮아요.
but
여기 막
you might put some Monopoly money on one of these two birdie looks going in. She could certainly use one, Hong Ji-won. No dice. Neither she nor Park Young-kyung have particularly dazzled today with that putter. And following suit with a group mate over the ravine and up onto the green, but a long way to the left from Park Ju-young. Big swing for EA1. Again, as has been all day, the speed control the power with which she's played these putts on the money. Slightly misaligned. Can she find a little magic in this putter? It's gonna go right. Dip towards us and then break away. Too fast. Didn't give the break a chance. Holes down. She knows she's left a few strokes off the board, enough to have her at least within one. She's running out of time in this opening round. To 13, Chen Sung, back of this green. Tiny chip to get it started. It's going to pick up the speed on the downhill. Look at that. Somehow fades away at the end. She had aspirations of an eagle until she sent it to who knows where, but out of bounds. And needed that to save a bogey. But for the second time today, 2 squares around the number. 2 birdies, 2 double bogeys, and 6 back yet again. A fine balance of risk reward, and unfortunately she finds herself in the latter category. Ji can get back to even.
Okay. Body.
She's thinking,
Body.
that's more like it. But what could it have been if not for those bogeys in consecutive holes? Park Ju-young, uphill, slow down and get right. Does neither, unfortunately for her.
네, 알겠습니다. 복사.
And our group to the par 3. 15, 16, 17, and 18 remain. 9 iron will be the club. She's played her irons so well today. Can she replicate that on this short hole? Downhill. No, she's off. Gone left and does not believe that that's not just a miss, that's quite the big miss.
안 나갔어. 이거 좀 바람 타서 왼쪽 엔딩도 좋아.
Much different club selection. 7 iron taking 2 more clubs than Park Young. Can tell she's a player lacking a bit of confidence at the moment. Does the right thing. She wasn't feeling it. Reset, go through the motions. She's headed towards the back. She caught that a little thin. No divot at all. cut out for her again. And Park Ju-young, this day has been full of these head scratchers. Another one for her. It's her first bogey since the very first hole. And one that she can't quite come up with an explanation for. It's a wide open green, really, for Bang Chin-sil. Also going 9. And she keep it on the green. Yes, how about that? You will commend her for her ability to bounce back from bad holes, but the rookie's still coming to grips with a full 18. Chun Ye-sung. Oh, that's exquisite. Less than 5 feet out of a birdie and rightfully beaming as she is given her putter. Onwards to 18. Just off the fairway in the rough on the right. And landing where this green narrows. And everyone has finished in a tight little line to the left edge. Check in next with the A1. Not quite as close, but a look at birdie nonetheless.
플레이하겠습니다.
Punching it up, lofting it up, and rolling it to within a foot or two. She needs birdies, and she knows that. But she's not doubling down on mistakes, which is a huge plus. Jungmin, her approach is a tight line, lands that just a few feet past the hole, and it's a close. Hong Ji-won now. Long way back, starting it right and skipping across the green as it comes uphill. So Yeon-jung trying to end the day one back. Take quite an exceptional putt. Almost had it too. So 70 in this opening round.
여기까지 내리막 조금 있고 여기서 좀 거의 완만한 평지성이라고 봐줍니다.
Two back is a great place to be. Jumi's on 16. Her approach shot, that's near perfect. And after the adversity at the last, that will feel oh so sweet. A redemptive approach shot and a sure birdie. Bang Chin-sil can't buy one. Almost doesn't make sense. Twice now, an identical result. Back-to-back missed cuts. And still Just 5 events removed from her first professional win back at the 11th E1 Charity Open. From 740th in the world when the season began to just outside the top 100. EA1. Rocking back on her heels and her tiptoes. Knew she came close. Close won't influence the scorecard. Back to 18. So Jean starting this above the hole, starts to come down, but not in time. And a birdie on 14 for Chun Ye Sung. Well earned. Third of the day. First at the back 9, tied for 14th.
네.
71 in round 1, all pars since her birdie at 7.
됐어.
My shot is underselling that a little bit on the final par 3 of the day. Now Lee Jung-min. She didn't look up to the end, and when she finally peeked her head up, she saw she was offline. So par.
아,
An 8-time champion. Still looking for her first of the year. And now we say 3 to play. Slight delay, but we get the answer that we were expecting. A good drive. She's had many of those today. And 16 has offered several birdies today. 9 of them, in fact. Excuse me, 14 of them, in fact. So she could get a little bit closer to the top. Inag Young, 4 under through 10. She is 1 back, and the closest challenger, Jaemin Young, 3 under through 15. Kim Min-ju, 3 under through 13. So, not destiny quite yet for Kim Soo-ji, who's 67, paces the field at the moment. 4:10 local time on a gorgeous day, becoming a gorgeous evening in Pocheon. We'll be back for more from round 1 momentarily. as they reach the final few holes. G1 needs to go birdie, birdie, birdie to finish even. It's going to be a tough start. Borderline despair on her face after some of these shots. Tells you how the day has gone, unfortunately. Thankfully, there'll be 2 more rounds after today. Well, one will be guaranteed. She'll need a big bounce back tomorrow to try and make the cut. Iga Young on 17. Heading back online. Not quite the legs to get all the way up. It's had a lot of these today. 2 putt pars. Hole's not been particularly kind. 72 pars, 9 bogeys, 3 more than that. Shinshil. Okay. Again, she does the job with iron. But back-to-back holes she has missed from that exact same distance with too much speed. That's her next task. Chunye Song on 15. This tiny par 3, only 121 meters. Could tell she was not happy with that whatsoever. Has gone missed into the rough left. The tee shot to only 4 feet out. Park Ji-young gets that bogey back, or the birdie back, excuse me, from her bogey at 16. Within 3. .52-degree wedge, and it's 89 meters. Ball slightly beneath Park Ji-young's feet with next to no wind. Tails it back, but well left. Eight yards has been the average putt so far today on 16. Tracking it, and maybe for a split second she's thinking, is that going to clear the water? The answer is yes. All 3 are on the green. Same can't be said at the par 3 just a couple of holes before. 15, Chunye Sung into the grass bunker and gets up, but doesn't carry quite so far onto the putting surface. Lengthy par she will have next, as this is a lengthy look at bird. It's looking right and looking quick. And it does indeed end up being both of those things. The trend continues. This time EA1. Way too much club. She's got 10 meters to come back and has to get it uphill. She continues to judge the speed better than anyone today. She's left left herself with a lot of those moments. Hasn't quite been pin seeking. So we move her within 3 strokes. Outside look at birdie for Pak Young Young. Misjudged in both facets, short and right. Given the green light to go ahead and finish out. Been a frustrating back 9 for her. Both of her birdies coming back on the Printemps course. Now, to avoid a bogey, Chun Ye Sung, oh, looked good to the very last moment. Breaks away, and that's a drop. This tee shot comes back to cost her her second bogey of the day, the other coming back at 11. She descends to 1 under par. Jungmin in disbelief. Her line was perfect. Just needed a titch more. Stuck at even with that par. Can she break the trend? She'll desperately hope so. Nope. Knew immediately. Broke away right. Never wanted to come back. Incredibly frustrating. Figured the 3 almost automatic putts she's left off the board would have her under par. Haven't seen too many be on this side of the pin on 18. Confident up into the wind with a downhill putt next. And the tour of 17. A slight a slightly longer par 3 than the one we saw just a couple of holes ago. Dramatic, picturesque, and punishing if you are short 6 yards off the front and from the left edge of the hole. A long 44-yard, quite narrow green here at number 17. How brave is the question? And the answer, fairly brave. Now, can she get that putter to cooperate for just 2 more holes? Pick up a couple, narrow the gap. tell how much she's in her head today. Everything from the stride to the ball has to be just right now, or she's off of it. Ends up being extremely brave. Not that she wanted to come that close to the front of the green. She gets up. It was an anxious 5 or 6 seconds as she watched that ball fly to the dance floor. Plenty of loft on this. I think just by a fraction closest to the pin. Maybe by backing off a few paces, taking some of the pressure off. Maybe that's what she needs at the moment. Kim Soo-ji, 5 under, remains at the top. Big week. The big purse. It has increased by 100 million won every single year since 2019 for 1 billion this week. 120 players battling for it. Kim Soo-ji, the top of that list. Quick break, and more rounds will conclude on the other side. Well, if you'd believe it, the longer this opening round has gone on, the warmer it's gotten. Almost 34 degrees now here in Pocheon. See more groups coming through 18, and the heat in the air has not matched the heat in the approach game for Lee Young in this opening round. Can the putter heat up for Park Young down the stretch? A big frustrated roll of her head. She watches another putt go missed. You can see just how much to our left of the pin Park Young is going to start this putt. For a round of 69, and that is straight as an arrow. No break whatsoever. So it's a 70 instead. She desperately needs a couple of these to go. Cold streak continues. Better on the speed this time. Credit the rookie for that. 2-putt par, unfortunately, does nothing to get her closer to even. You have to think that even or 1 under be around our cut line with so many players in that log jam towards the top. Good par to end the round for Lee Young. Look at that scorecard. You see 3 birdies, 14, 2, and 6 bogeys of 4 and 5 for a round of 71, tied for 25th. And an uphill putt for Ong Ji-won. Has also struggled to find her birdies today. 0 for 3 on number 17 from this group. Hope for better luck on 18. While they make their way to the tee blocks, let's go to 16 and the fairway. All the drives are done. 2 of them went really well. And the third, well, it was well left. It avoids the trees, but EA1 has to take a relief from the cart path. As that iron glimmers in the sun. He crushes this second shot, and uh-oh. Tried to get cute with it. She went right. We haven't seen a lot of misses right today, as you might expect with right-handed golfers. Lee Jung-min, still a long way to go. She's off the fairway right. That bounces once, more like leaps, and deposits itself in the bunker to the left of the green. It's not going to be the most straightforward of up and downs. Chun Ye-sung, no such trouble. Off the tee, in the middle of the fairway, playing her second. And she goes brave. And she is going to be able to reap the benefits. Courage rewarded. Now she just has about 4 feet left. This is an absolutely breathtaking tee shot for the final hole. Your eyes meet forested mountain peaks, and the fairway descends beneath them. Park Young goes first, and that's going to carry him left. she's going to find that
기대기야.
narrow stretch of fairway either. She's going to be in the rough. Only seen one player today splash the drive on this par 4. It would need quite the leap as well. And Hong Ji-won goes well longer than Bak Yang, but in a similar spot down in the rough. The sprinkler head and that little dip cost Peng Xin a little bit of an extra roll, but she's the only one to find the fairway. And back to 16. This could have been a whole lot worse for A1. She will count her lucky stars. And drops that in nicely. Lee Jung-min's on the beach. Well, the ball in her left foot is. Bit of an awkward wide stance. She needs this to carry. She's got to really get her shoulders down and get on top of this ball. She didn't need that much carry, and luckily there's no fringe here on 18. It's just fairway and a bit of a bumper keeps her on the green. Otherwise, if it was flat, she might have been in the sand again. And DA1 to save par. Very good recovery. Could have unwound a little bit. Well, a gorgeous approach shot set up that very well-deserved birdie. 2 on the other side of a bogey at 15. 4 birdies now on the day. 2 to play, within 3 of Kim Soo-chi. Similar spot to An Sun-ju, who waits patiently for her turn. Lee Jung-min trying to save par, but it was well off from the beginning. Be a disappointing end to the day.
거의 안 번지는 팀.
Well, again, she goes aggressive, and again, she will be looking at a short birdie. Good time to catch your stride. On a mountainous course such as this, the heat and the fact you're walking 18 make for a pretty good workout. Only found 69% greens in regulation today. That's outside of the top 50. It's one of the reasons why she's down at even, Chung Yoon Ji. She doesn't want to hear about that stat right now. Great tee shot. So only 69% for EA1 today. She's pensive. Slightly off. So that stat will tick lower. Never say never on a hole out, but she's probably looking at another par at best. Me looking at a bogey. Hesitates again, but this time it doesn't cost her anything. Was predetermined before that putt. But it's 3 bogeys on the day, birdies at 9 and 14. Tied for 62nd at +1. It's a very daunting line over the water. Over the sand, trying to get up. 142 for Park Young. She is going to clear. But that takes all kinds of speed and finds the perimeter bunker. Use the term beach colloquially, but very much the case on 18 as it surrounds the water. Almost the exact middle for Hong Ji-won. Bang Xin-shil, nicely done. Nobody is due more for a birdie than she is. Down to the final quarter of an hour or so as we near 5 p.m. local time. Young still 4 under through 12, 6 holes to find a stroke. She will be finishing her round on the front 9. We have a few featured groups finishing off on 16, 17, and 18 at the moment. No one really pushing for the top, but jostling for position to be in a good place heading in to moving day tomorrow. EA1 at 1 under. Just off the green. Left. Starts it above the hole, rolls on down with a slope. And the par is all but guaranteed, though she'll take no chances as she marks off. Turning to 18, Park Young, last year's runner-up here. Best result of her year. Big blast out of the sand. Doesn't quite carry where she needed it to. In the pre-tournament interview, she spoke of the importance of putting. And as if she was looking into a crystal ball. It's the main reason why she's not towards the top today. ENG is next, and this is starting about 4 feet left for birdie. Here it comes, 4 feet right, of course, anticipating the left break, and she nailed it. Took her time with the read, and she's rewarded for it. Without those back-to-back bogeys, she'd be within 2. Not a course for the faint of heart. G1, that would have been for 74 today, but at the risk of sounding like a broken record, the flat stick not doing her many favors today. Same can't be said for Chun Ye-sung, who has been putting exceptionally well. Starts it above the hole and just about had it. Catches what had been the outside of the hole and ricochets out. She has her par. A little hard done by not to be picking up another. Now, to avoid dropping, it's for a round of 71 for Park Young, and it's pushed. A little extra time on the putting green tomorrow before she starts her round. It'll be nice and early. She won't be competing with nearly the heat she did today. 72. Tied for 45th, and both of those bogeys coming on the back nine. Two double bogeys in the round. No bogeys, just doubles. Cost her 4 strokes over the course of the round. It's for 73. Could be a replay. By my count, by my recollection, which is not perfect, count 5 of those. Where she got a piece of the hole, but with it brought too much speed. Back-to-back birdies at 10 and 11. She had a clean slate for the home stretch, but no birdies since, and that double. 2 in the same round will frustrate her to no end. I'm sure she replays this Friday in her mind tonight. And MG1, some work to do tomorrow morning.
고맙습니다.
Tied for 98th, a round without a single birdie. Bogeys at 3, 9, and 1 more on the back.
고맙습니다. 에휴.
미안하다 내가.
Well, with our featured group having completed their rounds, let's take you through the highlights today. We'll start on 3. You can see there were some movers and shakers who got off to a great start. And this front nine playing awfully kind. The young supporter certainly appreciated that from Kim Soo-ji. She was in the home stretch of her round. She teed off on number 10 today. Fast forwarding to this brilliant extra reach. There in 2. And the look at an eagle. Stood over. And this looks pretty good, you know. This looks pretty good. And how about an eagle? Birdie 3, eagle 6, and 3 birdies on the front on her way to the best round of those we've seen today, and will probably remain as such. No eagle, but not to be outdone. Sticking it within 6 feet, a little left to right putt. And a nice finish to hole number 6 onto 7. Right at the pin and a backspin to keep it close. Setting up a well-earned birdie to 2. These putts, or these approach shots, excuse me, had been leaving on average 9-meter putts. Not the case for Park Young to about 5 feet uphill, left to right on the money. And a great start with a birdie on just her second hole of the day. She was hoping that would be a sign of things to come, as we well know. It unfortunately would not be the case. EA1, her putt of the day. This beauty on 8, weaving. Started for her right, came back left and would drop. Peng Xin at 10. We know the story of her round, but we also know that at this point, she was straightening out. She made it back-to-back. Clean slate, and she was hoping that it would continue. Even par is also where we found Lee Ga-young. 73 meters. Backspin to send her to about 7 feet. Uphill. And dropping it. Her first birdie. 7 holes between them. You can see the relief. And this was awfully close to disaster, but luckily she keeps it on, would birdie that at 16 to move to 2 under, and then a nice tee shot on 17 to set up another. So Lee Ga-young, she still has 5 holes remaining. She is the best chance to meet or dethrone Kim Soo-ji. Everyone else in, Yoo So-yeon 2, Hong Jin-young 2, and Kang Chae-yeon. Also with 68s, Han Chin-sun, Chae Min-kyung, and Hung Yoo-min, the rookie, with a great opening round. 69 and tied for 6th. And you'd have to look further down on the leaderboard to find our defending champion. He's so young. Even today, 72, tied for 43rd. Which is one of the things she's trying to do, is break the curse of not winning in odd-numbered years. She's only ever won in even-numbered years, which is an interesting stat that one I'm sure she'd love to change. But she'll have to turn up the wicket tomorrow to try and find 5 strokes or so to put herself back in the mix. This is goodbye for now. It's been a very enjoyable 3 hours on a near perfect weather day, albeit on the hotter side of the equation. We are back on the air tomorrow at the same time. We hope you will join us then for Moving Day Saturday at the Dayouwinia Country Club for SBS Golf and spot crews. I've been Adam Jenkins saying so long, good evening, and see you tomorrow as the Dayouwinia MBN Women's Open will continue.